Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the equilateral triangle question. The side of an equilateral triangle decreases at a rate of 2 centimeters per second. At what rate is the area decreasing when the area is 100 centimeters squared? Now, this question gets a bit funky because what we have is we have an equilateral triangle. So we're going to pretend that's equilateral. What does equilateral mean? Well, equilateral means that all of my sides are the exact same length. So first of all, one of the pieces of information that we get from this is that dx all over dt equals -2 centimeters per second, because the side is decreasing at a rate of 2 centimeters per second. Also, we know that we want to be working with this area formula. So if area equals 1 over 2 BH, or in this case, if we just draw it in right here, it's going to be area equals 1 over 2 x multiplied by h. So we don't really get much information about what's going on with h. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it in terms of x. Now, redrawing my diagram up in the corner right here, what I can do is I can say, since this is an equilateral triangle, that that's x over 2, that's x over 2, and that is x right there. So we can divide it in half, and we have that h right there. That then takes us to half that triangle, which would be labeled h x over 2 and x. Now, by Pythagoras' theorem, we know that h squared would equal x squared minus x over 2 squared. H squared would equal x squared minus x squared all over 4, or h squared equals 3 over 4 x squared. Taking the square root of this, we'll get that h equals root 3 over 2 x. So now going back to my area formula, I have area equals root 3 over 2 times 1 over 2 times x times x, which will give me area equals root 3 over 4 x squared. So now at this point, I take the derivative of this with respect to time, and I get dA over dt equals root 3 over 2 x dx over dt. Now we're looking at this for when the area is 100 centimeters squared. But it doesn't give me the x value. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find the x value. Using the area formula that I had before, and by before I mean this area formula right here, we get 100 equals root 3 over 4 x squared. 400 equals root 3 x squared, or moving the root 3 over and taking the square root, I'm going to get x equals 20 all over the 4th root of 3, because taking the square root of a square root is just going to give me the 4th root. Now, the next step that we're going to have is we're going to sub this information back into my derivative, so I get dA over dt will equal root 3 over 2, and then the x would be multiplied by 20 all over the 4th root of 3, and then my dx over dt is -2. Well, those 2's will cancel. This will actually cancel with that, leaving me 1/4 root of 3. And then we get the 20 staying up top with the negative sign. So I get my dA over dt will equal negative 20, all multiplied by the fourth root of 3. And this is what our answer is, putting the multicolor box around.